Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Live Your Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Joe Gawalis, alongside my fantastic co-host,
Chris Victor.
Chris. I have to tell you, I am so excited today because what our show capitalizes on is individuals that go out there, follow their dreams, their passion, and continue to strive for greatness. And what individual can represent that better than Darren Weiss? He is literally an incredible actor. He's an executive producer. What this man can't do, I'll tell you, he can do it all. Darren, thank you so much for coming on. His film Break is recently coming out. It's fantastic. Darren, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, really, man? Your career trajectory is phenomenal. What you've done, and obviously we'll get in a break in a second, but your career in general is so impressive. People don't realize in this industry what somebody like you has accomplished in such a short time is nothing short of monumental. I mean, you must be so proud, and it must be such a great feeling to be doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I mean, it is. And, I'm very hard on myself, and I sometimes I don't take the time to like appreciate like what I've accomplished or like what I've done. And I'm trying to be better and like easier on myself. But at the same time, I'm continuing to push myself. I never, I'm always hungry. I'm always looking for what's next. But yeah, it's been a great journey thus far. And thank you again for those kind words.
No.
I'll give you some.
Yeah,
I'll just give you some feedback though. It's good to hold yourself accountable, but don't beat yourself up. Put the bat down. Hit yourself with a feather instead. Keep moving forward.
Amen. You got to know exactly when it's like, all right, it's go time, it's game time, and like, also sit in the moment and enjoy the moment. But it's like, all right, enough of that, let's go.
No. You're absolutely right. And so, Darren, you're right now leading in an amazing film Break. It's been picked up by Gravitas, great company. It's getting out there. It's all over the place. But more importantly, before we even start there, bring us back to the beginning of your journey because it's been a fantastic one. What motivated a young Darren to kind of start getting into this craft and then take that big leap of faith to come out to California and really start pursuing acting full time like you've been doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I won't bore you guys with the story, but it's actually a crazy story how I got into acting.
I'd love to hear it, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Tell it.
please.
Well, you haven't heard a story like this. You have not heard a story like this. So I went to Michigan State, and I was a business major, and I was just going to work in the family business. I'm from Detroit, back in Detroit, and I worked for it every summer. I worked in my dad's office, and that was sort of the plan. And I played on the women's basketball scout team at Michigan State. So basically, for people that don't know what that is, the women college basketball teams and the WNBA does this. They practice against men, right? So these men go to these to the tryouts on campus. You have to have a letter from your varsity head coach saying like this kid can play. Da 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 da. So you try out, and if you make the team, you're considered a student athlete. You watch film with the girls. Let's say Michigan State plays Wisconsin tomorrow. I was a point guard, so like I would do everything Wisconsin's point guard would do to try to help them get the point guard. And under your account, like under your student profile, when you go to schedule classes, it says student athlete, and like the journal, the person that like plans your classes, they don't know if you're a soccer player or whatnot. So like I had to, being a student athlete, you can enroll in any class you wanted, right? So the counselor is like, listen, you need some elective credits. Here are your three choices with your practice schedule. You can take acting 1, you can take marine biology, or you can take quantum physics. So I'm like, you know what? Like, acting sounds cool. And I'll tell you, Joe and Chris, like the first day I went to that acting class, I never enjoyed being in a class so much. I never skipped class in school, but like I looked forward to going to this acting class, and fast forward over 3 years, I just kept enrolling in these classes. And next thing you know it, I'm in a 400 level acting class. And, I grew up an athlete. I didn't really grow up doing theater. So it was definitely like, it was a different kind of a thing for me. But senior year, the final in the acting class was you had to go to audition for a student film. And I just told the professor, I'm like, listen, can I just like pick a scene from a movie and do it for you? He's like, no, you got to do this. So I went, I did the audition. I'd never auditioned before. And again, this is a student film, and I got the part. And
that's a big accomplishment still. Don't underplay that, because again, you're up against a lot of great students at a high level. That's like, very good.
Like, we like you for the role. And I'm like, yeah. So we shot this like little student film. It was like a 12-minute film. Budget was like $0. And I had a great time. And you know what? After college, I sort of can work for my dad from LA because, you know, we do some different management stuff. So he's like, listen, he's like, you didn't go out of state for college. He's like, if you really like acting, he's like, why don't you go to a conservatory for a year or two and try it out? So I entered this crazy conservatory intensive program for a year and a half, like 4 classes a day. And the dean of the school, her name's Michelle Danner. She's a very talented director, producer. After about a year in there, I was 22 or 23. She's like, listen, I really like the work you've been doing. I want you to audition for this film that I'm directing. I booked that film. It was called Bad Impulse, the first film I ever did. It was like a little horror thriller with Paul Sorvino, rest in peace.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had this little cool supporting role. And from there, fast forward, I've been in her last 4 movies. She just did a huge movie called Miranda's Victim with Luke Wilson, Donald Sutherland, Andy Garcia.
Yeah, great cast. Absolutely.
And you know, I just like from there, like I got footage, and then I like met other people in the industry. I worked with a buddy of mine named Danny A. I've been in his last.
Oh, yeah, Danny A. Sure, yeah.
Danny A. Last. Oh yeah, you guys know Danny. So in his last, I did his Mob Cops movie on the Warner Brother lot in February, and you know, through Danny, I met Brad Furman. I don't know if you got who did Lincoln Lawyer, and I did.
Okay. Yeah, don't know him personally, but yeah, sure, I know the name. Yeah.
And yeah, so that's sort of like. I just think you guys like doing work gets you work, right? And like, you sort of like have to be like, I tell people like, I came out here and I didn't have an agent. I didn't do anything. I actually booked like a play the first thing before the movie, but like I didn't have footage or anything. And then like, I got this like little small agent and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to book everything now. Like, I can't wait. And like, I didn't even have one audition with her in like a year. She didn't even one audition. So like, honestly, like yeah, that's sort of like how it started. And like, fast forward, now I've been in LA 7 years. And that's the story of how I got into acting. Awesome. Sorry if that took an extra minute.
I love that story because you felt something. You went into that class. It's almost like lightning struck. You knew it was for you because people don't get enjoyment out of classes all the time. You don't have that passion and you just kept running with it and growing and growing. And I love that story. And it goes to show people out there that want to follow their dreams, it's never too late. Because usually you hear people that break into the arts, they're like, oh, I was 5 and I wanted to be an actor. And it's usually that kind of story. I love the path that you took and that you went down because it's a great story. People can follow that. It's something very real. And I love that you're following the passion so strongly.
I got to mention one thing. I don't take that business degree as a loss of time because as an actor, if you don't treat this like a business, if you're not taking inventory of what's working or not, you're going to go out of business.
100%. If you don't treat it like a full-time job, then forget it, you know, just like anything else.
No. So talking about treating things like a full-time job, you are making connections, you're moving, you're treating the industry again like a business. You understand meeting new people, contacts are important, everybody around you. So now things are moving forward and you get involved with this production break. I loved it. I mean, I think it's a fantastic production. I truly enjoyed the movie from start to finish. Really like the topic. You're acting. It's your film, man. This is your moment. You're there. You're the lead. You're in every scene. I thought you were fantastic throughout. How did you feel? And how did you start getting involved with this film as it started going on in, the early stages of it?
You know what? So over COVID, you know, when like everything shut down, I went back to Detroit for 6 months and I wasn't like a little down, you know, I like went back and I like was working for my dad and like, I was sort of sick of like audition. Like I was auditioning a little and still like wasn't that much, but like I wasn't really booking anything. I booked a few, like I booked a Super Bowl commercial, which was really cool, but like I wasn't really booking anything. And the things I did go out for, like I couldn't even like really relate to, you know, like, and they were like, it wasn't bad stuff. It just wasn't stuff that like I wanted to do. And over COVID, I'm like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Like, what's something that like I would want to watch?
Sure.
I'm like, you know what? Like, let me just like create a vehicle of like a script and like nothing happens overnight. I'm just like, let's just like, you got to start somewhere. So like, I developed this idea for Break and I can't write. Like, I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And writing is one thing that like I fucking suck at. And I have a few friends that are writers, and these two writers, Spencer and Deke are their names. I sort of pitched them the idea. Originally, it was about a swimmer. For those that you don't know, Break is a coming-of-age drama that centers around a pool hall in Detroit, but there's so much more to that, as, you know, Joe could tell you. So I had this, like, idea. I pitched it to the writers. I'm like, this is sort of like what I'm going for. What do you guys think? And they're like, yo, like, we love the idea. Like, we'd love to come on and try to help you do this. So they wrote me like a little treatment. We went back and forth. And then I'm like, all right, like we have an idea. I told them the characters I kind of like envisioned or like that I wanted to play.
Sure.
and they wrote a script. It was great. I gave them notes. They did a redraft. From there, I just I took it out to the industry. And I found a great production team, Showdown Productions, Bo Youngblood and John Iardi, who came on board to produce it. They brought the director, Will Wernick, who was amazing. He did it
great. Yeah.
And that's like sort of how it happened. Of course, there's so many more steps that I'm not talking about. I'm just giving a broad picture.
The whole process of making a movie, right? Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I wanted to do, I wanted to take matters into my own hands and be like, yo, like I know I can play this character, and I want to play a lead, and I want to lead a movie, and I want to do all those things, and no one's going to give me the opportunity, unless if you get the opportunity, it's very how you guys know how it is. You just you're so lucky to get it. So I just said, you know what, I want to create the own opportunity. Let's see what happens. And that's sort of what happened. The script was great. I sent it around. People were like, listen, I haven't read a script like this before. And we got my buddy Victor Rasuk. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He was in How to Make It in America. He was on the Netflix show. He was one of the leads on Lords of Dogtown with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
He's a buddy I met through Danny A. Danny A. I will too, by the way. And we can get into that. But he read it. He really liked it. He came on board. We got an amazing casting director, Jeff Gaffner, who sort of did everything. And from there, that's just how the movie started. And, I helped executive produce it. I went out and sort of made it all happen, and I couldn't have done it without the producers, but and then that's sort of just how it happened. And I'm really happy with how it came out. The cinematographer, Akis is his name, is super talented.
The photography is gorgeous. I'm telling you. No, really, the shots are fantastic. You feel the environment that you're in. Just it seems, I love when you're outside with Jimmy in those scenes, and you feel like the tension going on. It's there. You know what I mean? You can really feel the world that's environment. And I like to even took these dark scenes, and when you start to see these characters are actually liking Eli, and he's kind of part of this world. I don't want to spoil anything that's going on. It kind of opens up a little bit more, and you're still, what could be scary starts to become light. I like how everything worked, and then the scenes when you're with your sister are beautifully shot and just a whole different dynamic. There's so much there. Cinematography, really fantastic job, and really just great cinematographer and director. It was fantastic.
Thank you. No, everything worked out great, and we got to shoot in Detroit, the exteriors, which was awesome, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
The junkyard was one of my, favorite places.
Yeah.
It was really cool because you sort of see a story without spoiling it. This kid that is uncomfortable in his own skin, and he comes upon this pool hall with all these different sort of misfit toys who sort of went through the same thing he's going through. And you see the outside world of what's going on at home, and then he feels most comfortable in a place where you would least expect it,
Yep. No, that's beautiful. People can relate to that because it's not just about pool. That's what people are going to see when they watch the movie. It's not just about pool, right? Pool is like a metaphor within the movie. Obviously, in the movie, pool has place, and that's what's going on. But that could be anything in life. Like you said, originally it was about a swimmer. That could be anybody's life, anybody's journey. And you did such a great job creating that concept to do that, and it really comes through that way. It's great.
And I wanted to do something where there was as you know, there's so many different characters. I wanted to create characters that people could relate to,
Yeah.
People like Eli, the character I played. I know that people have the same struggles that, my character went through, and I want people to know they're not alone, or Susan at the pool hall, or Victor, who comes from, or the guy that plays Draper that comes from a different background. Everyone comes from a different background, and I feel like it gives up people an opportunity to relate to, all these different characters.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
I love that part when she's on the phone and her girlfriend, she forgets to hang up, and then you hear that disappointment. You feel it. It's amazing.
What's not to like it?
What's really interesting is, like you said, you came out to LA, you really hit the ground running. People spend 10, 20 years in this business, never make traction. How was it that for you to actually, I'm going to go out there, not only create a concept, find the right team, executive produce, take my future in my own hands and make it happen. That takes a lot of guts, a lot of fortitude, and just a lot of intuition to do that. Congratulations to you. What really set you on that journey? Was that the business degree and coming from that background that made you be able to say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm not afraid to go 100% in?
Yeah, I mean, everything just, I don't know, maybe coming from Detroit and having that sort of different mindset, that you got to really work for what you want. I watch a lot, I'm a big LeBron guy, big Kobe guy, and I listen to stories, Kobe, you know, all these guys are like coming back from the club and Kobe's on his way to the gym at 3 a.m. or like just like outworking everyone else. Cause if you don't do it, somebody will, you know, and like
100%.
That's sort of like what motivates me is just like also like a lot of people like, and this is just like my own issues of like people not like thinking I can do something sort of motivates me even more. You know, like, why are you going to LA? You're not going to make it. It's too competitive. This, that, like I have so many stories of that. And that stuff like, you know, drives me too. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, I feel like when you're just really passionate about something.
Yes.
And I think we're all lucky because you guys are passionate about what you do too, right? Like, I think a lot of people, like, unfortunately, maybe they're not passionate about their jobs, you know? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But like, for instance, I'm just saying, like, I have friends that are like, dude, like, I'm so jealous of you. I'm working like a 9 to 5 in a cubicle, like, and they're not passionate about it. Like, I think when you're passionate about something, you really go for that extra, like, it makes you like, it's always on your mind, you know? It's not like when you leave the office, it's 5. It's like, all right, we're picking back up tomorrow at 9. It's like your phone never stops. You're always thinking about it. Like, and that's just like your drive or passion for something.
No.
It's like in business. I was gonna say in business, you got to put those 10,000 hours into master something. So when we're putting 16-hour days or whatever it is, working on what we love, it's all a matter of time.
Exactly. So, you know, if you're gonna do something, you might as well go all in. You know, you don't want to half-ass it, and at least I don't. If I'm gonna like spend my time and energy on something, like let's go. You know.
No, I agree 100%. You have to be all in, especially in this business, this craft. If you're not all in, you're just going to fall to the side. And what you created for yourself, let's talk a little bit about the Eli character. This is such a complex character, right? He has a past that's dark, but he's also kind of coming into the world. At the beginning, you may think, you know, this guy's a little innocent. He has this good side to him. And then you find out he has this dark past, and he has a lot of interesting going on. He's trying to help his sister, his mother, and then he's involved with this darker world. You have so many awesome scenes in there that were created in this movie where you really showed such a well range of your acting. Really impressive. You went through everything. I mean, that was really great, really strong acting on your part. How was it when you started developing this character? Did you have that in mind? Like, I want to showcase that I could be a love interest. I could be the kind of mentor or father figure to a younger sibling. I want to be the kind of hero, but I can also be the person who's afraid or getting kind of put in their place, like by the antagonist of the film, because you had to go through that round gambit of all these emotions throughout.
Yeah, I really just wanted to feel like my character was just flooding, like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. You know, he's worried about his sister, his special needs sister, you know, his mom, who's an alcoholic, who works 2 jobs. He's got to deal with that, you know. Like, I wanted to like sort of like just try to fit as much as possible in and because people deal with that on a daily basis and they still have to go through life. You know, they worry about their significant others, their family, like how they're going to put food on the table. Like, there's so much going on there. And then they have their own insecurities that they can't even like acknowledge because of all the other things they're trying to handle, you know? So I just wanted to try to like to show a struggle. But like you said, Joe, like, but not make it so much like learn about him later, you know, like set up what he's going through and like what he deals with. And then like, you know, like it's almost like he's worried about others more than himself, you know?
Oh yeah, no, comes true. That character's arc is definitely all about the other people around you, so it keeps you involved, which is good. Because again, it's what I liked about your movie is you did it correctly. It's a movie that centers around the universe of pool, right, or this hustler's world. But that's not the point of the film. The film's about the character and the growth and the people around you, and really, it's about, like you said, somebody who's trying to take care of everybody around him, kind of negating his own emotions, his own needs to help everybody else. That's what I found was the real story behind it, and it just takes place in this universe, which is, you know, billiards and gambling and whatnot.
Yeah, so you hit it exactly on the head. I wanted to, you know, I wanted to, you know, I didn't want to make, you know, what my character's issues are like sort of the forefront. I wanted that to be the backdrop. And it's like, what's a cool environment where there's different kind of characters? And actually one of the writers had the idea. He's like, dude, a pool hall is like really interesting. And I thought about it and we developed it. You have so many different walks of life. And it's like, okay, like he's dealing with all this shit. And it's like the backdrop, it's not like right in your face, you know? And that's exactly what we were going for. And sort of in that like blue collar Detroit, like that feel, you know? So yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that you guys both picked up on that.
No, it would work. Yeah, no, absolutely. I always say a lot of, especially movies that take place in these universes, the ones that get it right aren't centered just like on the task. Like again, like even take The Hustler, The Color of Money. You're in a pool world. Like I feel this is in that universe where like it's about the characters within that world. You don't have to show pool shots and all that, because how interesting can that really be? You know, take a movie like Rounders, Matt Damon. People love that movie, but you can't sit there watching people play poker all day. That's about people that are, the environment and the people's relationships. That's what you guys hit really well.
Exactly. So, yeah, I just want, that idea of like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help. And it's hard to do those things. And like, but like, I wanted to show through this character, like those sort of traits, like getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, No,
that's very important. Now, talking about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. This is an idea. You're coming up with the concept. You're approaching company down the head, bringing a director. Obviously, director, cinematographer, everybody was great. So you formed an amazing team around you. But how was it when you're actually on set now? You come up with this concept, and now you have all these other people kind of now in that control, but now moving the pieces of your initial baby around. How was that, kind of not being in control, but being in control? Was that a unique experience? Did you say, I want to trust the experts and let them go? How was that process?
Yeah, it was an overwhelming experience.
Yeah.
Very fulfilling. But you know what? I got so lucky. The producers who I mentioned, Bo and John, Showdown, like once we got on set, I made it very clear, and the director too, when we were all on board, like I really just had to focus and dig my teeth into this role of Eli. I couldn't worry about like anything on the production side because I was so like enthralled with this character and I wanted to stay in character. And Bo and John, they ran such a tight ship producing it. There was problems that weren't brought to my attention that they took care of. Like
sure, always is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Really, from the first day of set, it really ran like a well-oiled machine, and they just knew what they were doing, and it gave me sort of the freedom and like the assurance that I could just focus on Eli, on this character, and not worry about like what's going on behind the camera.
No,
I feel very fortunate to have the team that I had.
Those are some great producers, because they always say if producers are putting in all the fires, if you don't know they're there, those are great producers. So what amazing team you obviously hired behind you and got involved with this production. And again, the director and the cinematographer, who people usually talk about, people could see that on the screen, that says it for itself. But the producers, the people don't know what they do, and they're the people that actually run the day-to-day ship. It's great to hear that, because you can tell that this was a well-oiled movie from start to finish. I mean, you watch a film, you never see a moment where there's a weakness in the film. You guys hit it all, from costume design, locations, acting, sound. You guys really hit it out of the park. It was a really beautiful piece.
We did, and it was a total team effort, top to bottom. Like, couldn't have been like. I'm so thankful and so fortunate to have the team that I had do this.
No, 100%. Now, you get picked up by Gravitas, great company. They have a great reputation. They got a lot of good films out there. So are you guys excited about the future of the film? Because it seems like they got a great reach. What are the plans in the future? What do you see going on with the film? And were you involved in that process at all? Do you let your producers kind of take that and move into the distribution?
I'm very excited. Gravitas is a great company. It was a collective effort, a collective like decision-making between the producers and I. Yeah. So they took it. We released it. It's in about 20 theaters across the country for 2 weeks. So right now, and then it releases on VOD, like Apple and iTunes. It's open for pre-purchase now.
That's right.
Which is great. And some international, companies are very, very interested in it.
That's good.
But that's exciting. And yeah, it's just it's hard because when you don't have like a name that leads the movie, it's like, how do you market this? How do you get it out there? So like, I think just like the work sort of speaks for itself, and people see it. Like I've had a lot of billiards outlets reach out to me on podcasts and different things that I've done there, and that's sort of. That's sort of it. And, hopefully, just through word of mouth, when it goes to VOD and people see this, I think they'll like it. But then again, like, it's not like it used to be. It's not like a movie needs to be in theaters, because there's so many different ways to watch it.
100%. No. Everything now has changed. I think there's definitely an audience for this movie. One, I think a lot of people can relate to it, but the pool hall audience, the gambling world, they're going to love this film. The characters are real. This is your antagonist. Jimmy was great. I thought he was a fantastic bad guy. Loved everything it was about him, and you could always feel that kind of person lurking around a pool hall type environment, right? So it's like people that understand that world can relate to that. Now, outside of film's coming out there. It's doing great. It's in theaters. It's going to go to VOD. Right now, you are actually on the road because you never stop. That's what's exciting about you, Darren. What is next for Darren? Because our audience is going to want to know, because I guarantee you there is something great in the horizon for you. What's going on now and next for you?
Yeah, so great question, and thank you for asking. I'm currently in my hotel room. I just got to Kansas City today. I start shooting a really good horror film tomorrow. It's a great cast. Jesse Metcalf plays the lead.
Okay.
John Tucker Must Die, for anyone that has seen that.
Sure.
The movie's called The Live-In. It's a really good cast. So I'm here doing that. I shot an independent film. I played the lead in this film called Americano in January in New Jersey. So that was great. And then who we mentioned, Danny Ye, I was in his film called Mob Cops, which shot on the Warner Brother lot in February. So it's been a really good start to the year.
Yeah.
And we're just, I feel like doing work gets you work. And I'm here in Kansas City for the next 2 weeks. And then, Break comes out. So hopefully, that will pick up a little bit of traction. And I just want people to see it. And I want, I want someone to come up to me at the gas station and be like, listen, I really appreciate that. Like I'm going through something very similar and that helped me, that's like what does it for me, So that's what's going on in the immediate future. And, there's some other things in the works, and, we'll see what happens. And hopefully I'll come on here again and I'll tell you guys, we'll do this again for the next movie I do,
Oh, we were just going to say that anytime you want to come on, it would really be a pleasure of ours. Nice. And again, everybody, we will have links if you allow us, Darren. We'd love to have links to Break and places you can get it in the descriptions below. We'll make sure. And the last thing, for I know our listeners and viewers are going to want to learn more about you. Any social medias, websites where people can actually get into your world?
Yeah, Instagram, my name, Darren Weiss, DARRENWEISS, the number 8.
Okay.
I'm pretty active on Instagram. I post a lot of Break stuff or just stuff I'm doing. That's probably the easiest way to follow along. There's some, Break trailers on YouTube to check out. So that's cool. There's some other movies that I've been in that are out that are fun. So that's sort of how to stay in touch. And I try to engage with everyone. I don't have many followers, so it's easy. If I see someone follow me, I'll probably notice. And I appreciate all the support and all that.
Well, I'm telling everybody, this is the time now, because there's going to be a lot of followers very shortly. So
that's right.
We'll engage with you now. Get involved now. Darren Weiss, I'm telling you, this guy, it's the future of the business. You're fantastic. Really, your ability is, I love it. From your energy to what you do on screen to your ambition to get something off the ground. I can't wait to have you back on the show. I know we're going to keep running into each other throughout the business. You're a fantastic individual, somebody that people can look forward to really meeting, look up to. Thank you so much for taking time to come on the show, because it's been fantastic. Break, everybody, is going to be coming out in June worldwide. You can pre-order now on Apple, Amazon. Check it out. It's a fantastic film. I just saw it. You are going to love it. It will take you on an emotional roller coaster. Again, Darren starring as Eli. It has been a fantastic job having you on the Live Your Dreams podcast. Thank you, Darren, so much for coming on board with us today. It's been great having you.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I look forward to our next time chatting, and you guys are the guys.
No, absolutely, man. We'll be in touch. As always, I'm Joe Gawalis.
Chris Victor.
Thank you so much for another episode of Live Your Dreams podcast. Darren Weiss. We'll see you guys next week.